You're listening to Something Cheeky, a collection of podcasts where two sisters discuss TV, books, and movies with just enough irreverence and far too many pop culture references. Welcome to Something Cheeky, where we discuss the TV series Vikings. I'm Nikki.
I'm Rosanna.
Well, I've watched the entire series. Rosanna has only watched up to what we're covering today, which is Season 2, Episode 2, Invasion. In this episode, we do the time warp again, gain a few sons, and wonder if Ragnar will soon meet his match. So I kind of know Rosanna's reaction to this episode, because you started watching it, and 3 minutes later, I got a phone call, which didn't start out with, "Oh, hi, Nikki, how are you? I'm watching Vikings." It started out with, 4 years!
Yes.
And that's all I got.
That's exactly what I said.
So tell me more about your reaction.
My reaction, I think, was shock. Mm-hmm. When we talked about the last episode, we were disappointed, right?
Yes.
And so I had pretty high expectations for this one because you said this one was going to be a lot better.
I said a lot changed.
Okay. 56 seconds into it, we get this across the screen 4 years later, and I lost my mind. I could not believe that they didn't jump 6 months. They didn't jump a year. 4 years. 4 years. It's... Mm-hmm. I was shocked, and then also I had no idea what to do with that information.
What's your favorite quote from this episode?
The quote I picked is from s02e, and she's talking to Aslaug. She says, "Women should stick together more, and we should rule."
Girl boss.
That's right. Woo woo. Yeah, I just like that, and I agree with her.
Yes. I really liked that scene between the two of them.
I did too.
Yeah, it started out with, Aslaug just saying we haven't been friends, and s02e had that smile on her face. Yes, of course, I'm so friendly inside, and all I want is to help you and serve you. Right. And then as soon as Aslaug said, "Let's not lie to each other," s02e dropped that face so fast. Yeah. And it was like we finally see her real, true, I know this is all bullshit, and I'm going to do exactly what I need to do to make it work for me.
And two, since we didn't get any Lagertha at all this episode, which made me so sad, it was nice to have a female, conversation with, s02e, where she's not playing the meek servant, but she's giving an opinion and a little bit Lagertha-like.
Is that the first time the show has passed the Bechdel test? Did Lagertha and s02e ever have a conversation that passed?
I don't remember.
I'm not sure they did.
I mean, everybody's just usually talking about Ragnar, so I don't know.
Actually, they must have when she came to serve her.
Well, yeah, when she offered to.
But the fact that it's that hard for us to remember makes me sad. Yeah. If the show has once before passed the test.
Yeah.
But I'll take it. I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I guess I did always expect a show about Vikings to be male-centered.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So let's get into the action. We start out in Kattegat. We see Ragnar's sons and Aslaug. We find out we've jumped 4 years ahead, which is a surprise to everyone but me, because I knew.
In the second episode of the season, though. I mean...
It's really strange.
Not between seasons, but between episodes. I've never seen a show do anything like that before.
I agree. Usually if time passes in significant amounts, it's consistent.
Yeah.
Throughout a series, not all over the place.
Right, and I've been saying this whole time, I can't ever tell how much time has passed, because they don't tell you. And the one time they finally tell us how much time has passed, it's 4 years?
Yep.
It's just blowing my mind. I can't even handle it.
I also feel like less has changed than I would have expected if you had told me before I ever saw this episode that 4 years had passed. I would have thought a lot would be different, rather than it seems mostly status quo from the last episode.
It seems like relationships maybe should have progressed more.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I guess, if you think on your own life, how much do your relationships change in 4 years? I don't know. I think I would have expected more growth by the characters.
I feel like the two biggest changes were, one, that kids had aged, which isn't a major thing.
Right.
And Rollo seemed to be the only person who actually had a change in circumstances, and it wasn't that much of a change. He just got deeper into the gutter, basically.
Well, and his part is part of what made me say that it seems like he was really wallowing for a long time. If you're talking about 4 years of acting like that, but staying there also.
I was amazed that Siggy stuck around.
I can't even believe that Siggy stuck around that long.
Yeah, the first time I saw this episode, I was really surprised that she was still there. Once I saw Rollo for the first time. At first, I wasn't, because when we saw her in the hall for the first time, it seemed fine and Ragnar was talking to her. But then we see Rollo drunk, passed out in the gutter. I was like, she is still living with this guy after all this? Because we know Siggy. She is not a sit still and wait kind of person. She makes things happen.
And it makes me wonder, too, if Rollo, these last 4 years, hasn't been this bad.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe he's gotten gradually worse, and it's gotten to the point now where she said, it's gotten so bad, I can't handle it anymore. You need to fix things.
It would also make sense that it suddenly got worse recently, because everyone obviously had planned to go to that big meeting and find out where they were going to raid in the summer. So maybe he knew about that meeting coming, and he knew he wouldn't be able to go, and so he spiraled again.
And it could be, too, as somebody who has a drinking problem, it appears, and maybe is suffering from depression because of this whole upside-down turn of his life, that he has good times and bad times. Maybe this was just a bad time. Maybe he's okay for a few months at a time.
Boy, that seems really sad.
But not unusual. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Maybe he gets worse when, the couple of months leading up to the raid every year because he knows he can't go. Maybe he's not always that bad.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not like they give us any indication. They're just like, oh, by the way, it's been 4 years.
That's true.
So.
Surprise!
There's babies everywhere now. Whatever. No big deal.
Oh, and Athelstan. Holy crap. The first time we see him, he's just having a casual conversation about the benefits of different weapons.
Right.
And you're like, priest, are you... What's going on? Athelstan, what have you become?
Well, and he's speaking Norse.
That's also true.
Yeah. And
really well.
His hair's a lot better.
Yes, it is.
So I guess over 4 years he's figured that part out too.
I don't know if because I know you watched the show on Hulu like I do, and I'm not sure when it ends. For me, it shows a still shot of the next episode if you don't cut it out right away. I don't know if...
I know what you mean, like small on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Like, this is what's coming up next.
Or the play next, and it covers the main screen if you don't close it soon enough.
It does come up, but there are words over it on my TV.
Yes.
So I can't really tell with the pictures, and I don't try very hard to look because it also says the name. So if I'm not careful, I'll read it, but I haven't been. So
that's good, because I was nervous you might see that, because at the end of the last episode it showed a still shot of this one, and it was a picture of Ragnar and Athelstan when they're at the end of the battle, and they're both just covered in blood. So you can tell that Athelstan has been in a battle.
Fighting.
I was like, no, don't let her know that yet.
Nope, I had no idea.
Good. Okay.
I remained clueless as usual.
Fantastic. That's what we want. So Floki has been building a fleet for their raid.
I really liked Floki this episode.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, I've been back and forth with him just like I have, well, I was going to say like I have been with Rollo, but mostly just on one side with Rollo.
Not as deeply as Rollo.
But the thing with Floki is, there was some time in the middle of the first season where he just seemed really gleeful about other people's pain.
Right. Which
I was not a fan of. But as the season progressed, I think that... I just liked him better. I don't have a really good explanation because he still is kind of like that, but I think I just like his personality, and there's something about somebody that is so committed to their faith or their convictions that's really appealing.
For as strange as he has this childlike glee
for
a lot of things.
Yes.
And that, coupled with his charisma, and he's kind of funny.
Yeah.
that all together makes he's like the class clown, lovable.
Well, yeah, he
kind
has
of thing.
he has these nice little lines that are odd but entertaining. And so it seems like the goal here of the showmakers is to get you to like him. He's easy to like, and they make it easy to overlook some of the other less nice things. Just a little distasteful.
He's
but
the funny sidekick.
Yeah, I mean but it's not even just that he has funny lines. He has really insightful observations.
Mm-hmm.
And he only needs his one line or his one phrase to explain exactly what he thinks.
And the look on his face.
Yeah.
Often those are priceless.
Very expressive, yeah.
He's Styles from Teen Wolf. A far more dangerous Styles. Maybe he's like Void. Is he Void Styles from Teen Wolf?
Oh, poor Void Styles.
Oh, he was my favorite.
Oh my gosh. The whole time it just hurt my heart.
Mm-hmm.
That poor guy.
It must have been so fun to play that character, though, after playing such a straight-laced guy.
I'm sure he enjoyed that quite a bit.
Yeah. I really want to see him as a bad guy somewhere.
I'm on Team Floki right now.
Good. That's exciting.
Yeah, I like him.
He just grows on me every season.
Yeah. So. I'm glad he didn't die. When he got hurt. I'm glad that wasn't the end of him.
That was a close one.
Yeah. Because, Nikki, I really hate it when characters that I like a lot because they're funny die.
Oh.
That hurts my heart.
So, listeners, Rosanna's very bitter right now because we are also reading The Lies of Locke Lamora for our other podcast in the Gentleman Bastard series. And we just had a chapter where a lot of people died and some of our favorite characters were in that number.
And we won't say in case you haven't read it and you're still going to, but I have some feelings about it. So I'll just leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that chapter didn't come at the same time as the
miscarriage?
Yeah, and the plague and all that.
Oh my gosh.
Episode, that would have been a bad week.
Yeah. Ugh. Oh, can't handle it.
Ragnar flirts with the girl from Uppsala right in front of Aslaug, and he should know better.
Well, and then Aslaug's acting all kind of surprised.
Like it's never happened in his 4 years they've been together.
Or the fact that she was that girl 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's the classic piece of knowledge. If they cheated on someone to be with you, they're gonna cheat on you.
Yeah,
that's
definitely
how it works. Yeah.
Yeah, she was all like, well, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, he was married when he knocked you up, girl.
Yeah.
Did you forget in 4 years? Yeah.
And at first it seemed like Ragnar loved Aslaug when he kissed her. I was going back and forth with the two of them. But then, as soon as she got upset about it, he seemed so annoyed and put out, and oh my god, this woman. And she was annoyed with him, too.
I felt like their relationship was way more awkward than it should have been after 4.5 years and 2.5 kids.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that they would have been more comfortable. Did they seem
I
uncomfortable to you?
They did.
Yeah. And also that...
I don't know if that was on purpose or not.
I think Ragnar is like, hey, you know what's cool about this chick? She's a baby factory.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about Ragnar that is what I'm getting from this episode.
Yeah.
We know that Ragnar loved Lagertha.
Yes.
We know that that's true. But he decided that what was more important to him was having more children. He doesn't love Aslaug. He doesn't love her. He needed her, or, for his goals, to achieve his goals, he needed a uterus. And he gave up Lagertha for it. But I think that it wasn't because he didn't love her anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so...
Yeah, he was genuinely upset when she left.
And I think Aslaug probably gets... even if she can't say flat out that's what it is, she can feel that.
I agree.
It's not love and passion, that brought them together. It's Ragnar's desire to have these kids, to have more sons.
And what's her motivation for being with him? Is it the chance to be with someone who seems like they're going to be famous? He's already kind of famous.
Maybe she thought he'd come around once Lagertha was gone.
It seems like they're both in this relationship for their own gain really, rather than because they're in love. Like,
right. I don't think they're in love at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Ragnar doesn't care about her. I think he does.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that it's not that sort of passion that takes a relationship 14 years, before you screw it up, because that's exactly what he did. But that's just not where his priorities are. It's too bad.
I agree. Ragnar has made a big mistake letting Lagertha get away.
Ragnar has made his bed, and now he has to sleep in it with a very irritated, very pregnant woman.
Very beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Who claims to be a vulva, which is an unfortunate...
Why is that the word?
It's spelled with an O, not a U.
No, I know.
It's still pronounced vulva.
Yeah. So I watch it with the closed captioning too, so I can get like the names of people and that sort of little background conversation that you miss sometimes. But
yeah,
even though it's spelled that way, I was like, nope. You just need to call her a seer or something.
Yeah, luckily they did say seeress, so people would know what it meant.
Yeah. What couldn't we have just gone with that though in the beginning?
And I looked up vulva in Old Norse. It means, you're gonna love this, either wand carrier or carrier of a magic staff.
Ooh.
It's very wizardy.
Very wizardy. Love me some wizard references.
So Aslaug would be in, I'd say, Slytherin. Certainly not Gryffindor. Way not Hufflepuff. Doesn't seem like a Ravenclaw.
Yeah, it doesn't. We don't know a whole lot about her. I mean, we know she's bright though, because they did the whole show up to the camp with clothes, no clothes, or whatever.
Yes, which interestingly enough is the actual. That's the actual tale. That Ragnar gave her that exact what he said on the show, the exact riddle, and she showed up in the net and with the onion and the dog.
Huh.
Yeah, that's legendary.
So maybe part of that story and putting it in here is to show her intelligence, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I still lean towards Slytherin, though, too.
I think that she certainly does seem ambitious and not in I want to do things for myself, but she wants to be associated with someone who has ambition. So she doesn't have to necessarily do it herself.
Right.
But she gets the benefit.
Yeah. It's hard to say what she thought she was going to get out of this arrangement. Did she really think that it was going to be a real relationship, or was she just trying to get maybe out of where she was and into a situation more like what she was looking for?
Well, it didn't seem like she really had, I guess, any future anyhow where she was. Her parents, who were very famous, were dead.
Yeah.
I don't know what her prospects were like. I mean, she probably could have married, someone else high up, but it seems like she wanted some sort of prestige.
Yeah.
And Ragnar was an opportunity to get that for herself.
It makes me wonder if she would have gone after Rollo if he had been there, because he wasn't already entangled, That seems difficult.
But he wasn't famous yet, or at all.
Right, but he's still the brother. I mean, he's closer than, One Eye.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Oh God, that would be great. Aslaug and One Eye.
Yeah.
Oh, except he's dead now. Oh.
Yeah.
We miss you, One Eye. I only recognized you for like an episode and a half, but that was enough. Oh, so the thing about Aslaug being I'm gonna just say seeress.
Good.
We can just call her Wizard Aslaug.
Or witch, because that's what you call a female wizard.
That's true. All right. It's also in her legend that she was some sort of witch, or that she claimed to be a witch.
Mm-hmm. And maybe, is that the explanation for how she knew she was pregnant so early?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
That was part of something that she saw or prophesized, rather than her actually knowing, the next day that she was knocked up.
Yeah, that's not very realistic.
Right. And she says that this baby is going to be born with the image of a snake in his eye because her father killed Fafnir the dragon.
Yeah, I didn't get that. What did you
think about that?
I heard that she said that, and I remembered that her father killed the dragon. But what does that mean? A snake in the eye, a serpent in the eye? Like
imagining?
Actually, when you look into somebody's eye, are you going to see a snake?
That would be awesome.
Like, your pupil is not round. It's a snake. I don't think that's it. I don't know what that means. I don't know if, sometimes on the show also, I can't tell if we're doing, like, imagery or if this is, like, literal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's almost like she was cursing her own baby, though. It reminded me of, like, Maleficent.
Oh.
Like, your baby's going to be beautiful, but she's going to die at 16.
Yeah.
Because of whatever. And, but Aslaug's talking about her own baby. So I thought that was really weird to curse your own baby just to get back at your husband. I guess at some point in this 4 years they got married.
He did call her wife at one point, but we haven't seen any wedding happen.
Right, but she said husband. I mean, they said husband and wife, so.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the scene with Ragnar and the seer. The more we see the seer, the happier I am every time he shows up.
Yeah.
Because he just is not about Ragnar's bullshit.
That's true. All.
He's like, I have told you enough. That's it. I was talking about Bjorn when I predicted these things.
Yeah, and I was actually surprised at how much he told him because he wasn't given much to Lagertha when she went to see him.
No, not at all.
He didn't tell her much, and he said, no, that's all you're going to get. But when Ragnar showed up, he gave him, a couple of good pieces.
Well, he wouldn't tell Lagertha because he made it sound like it was bad news. He was tired of giving bad news to people. But this thing for Ragnar was good news.
Yeah.
Ragnar did look pretty jealous about his sons being famous as long as men could speak.
Yeah, that really irritated me. You've been going on and on and on about how you want more sons, and you cheat on your wife, who is a wonderful person, and now you're complaining that your sons are going to be more famous than you? Maybe you shouldn't have had him then. So frustrating.
Do you remember the scene when he was talking to Gita after she had died, and he said something about men are supposed to love their sons the most, but you can be jealous of your son.
Yeah.
And that was, I wouldn't call it foreshadowing, but it was an indicator of this coming up. So we hear that one of Ragnar's sons will marry the daughter of a king, and one will discover and sail around the sea that has no tides. And it sounds like the seer means that both of these will be Bjorn, or at least one of them, because he said I was talking about Bjorn.
Yeah, I think one of them.
Okay.
That's what I got from that.
Which one do you think will be Bjorn?
I don't.
And what do you think the sea that has no tides is?
I thought about that for a little bit too, and I couldn't come up with anything.
I don't know of any seas with no tides.
Well, I mean, I guess out to sea if you never go to land. I mean, if you stay away from the shore, you can't have a tide, right? Yeah, I don't know. Unless it's like a sea of
troubles.
A sea of good luck.
What is that?
I don't know. Like
just pulling stuff out of your hat now.
I don't know. Seas have tides. The seer doesn't know what he's talking about.
And Ragnar has not seen Bjorn in all this time, which is a terrible custody arrangement. But were you surprised?
Didn't even know if he was alive or not.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Apparently Bjorn and Lagertha are not sending letters about Bjorn's progress as a in school or something.
And how far did they go that Ragnar didn't even ever go visit him?
Yeah. I wonder if he would have even tried if he knew where they went.
Well, I guess maybe once he started having other sons, he got preoccupied.
Yeah, he does seem pretty happy about all his kids.
Yeah, until the seer says they're going to be more famous. And then he's like, second guessing these decisions.
We're back in Kattegat. Rollo looks like shit. He is all like, ugh. He looks like he has bruised eyes, and he's kind of gray-skinned, and
he looked kind of puffy.
He did.
His face looked puffy to me.
Like alcoholic puffy.
Yes, yeah. Not like he gained weight, but just that he was in poor health.
Yeah. I did like the throwing of the very, very cold ice water on him to wake him up.
Yeah.
And Siggy says he has to either ask Ragnar if he can go west, or he has to kill himself with his hot blade.
Which he grabbed.
Yeah. Always the over-the-top action. Of course I'm manly.
Such a drama queen.
Really is.
He really is.
Just picturing him prancing around in a cape and a crown. Basically Moriarty at some point.
Yeah. At least Moriarty has a good sense of humor.
That's true. Has Rollo ever made a joke?
No, he's so grouchy.
Rollo visits Ragnar and asks him to trust him again. Asks Ragnar to trust Rollo again. Finally, Ragnar shows some doubt that he should trust Rollo.
Mm-hmm.
It took him long enough.
Yeah.
I was glad they haven't been buddy-buddy this whole time.
Yeah.
That would have made me really angry.
It would have been really weird.
Yeah. Though it's weird that it seems like they haven't even talked all this time. It's not a very big place.
That's what I thought too.
I'm sure they run into each other. I mean, you can see the whole area.
Yeah.
There are like 10 houses in view at all times.
Maybe they just pretend they can't see each other.
Maybe. Also, how is Rollo paying for things? He obviously is procuring a lot of alcohol. Does he make it himself?
Maybe somebody's taking care of him, though I can't think of anybody that doesn't hate him.
Siggy?
Yeah, but, I mean, you think she still has some of her stolen jewelry left?
I don't know. Ragnar's teaching Athelstan to fight and invites him to go to England, and Athelstan is all about it. The whole fight was kind of weird to see him fighting. He's gained some skill, apparently, but he's still not great.
Yeah.
That scene also seemed kind of awkward between the two of them.
Yeah, I thought so too.
It's a weird episode. It's almost like there was a big hiatus in between the first and the second episode or something, and everyone had to get comfortable with each other again.
Yeah, it was.
It's strange.
I feel like there's still something weird about the production that maybe we just don't know, that their timing was just wonky. Mm-hmm. Because it's very strange.
And it definitely feels like this should have been the first episode of the second season.
Yes, it very, very much should have been.
Horik arrives, and he's a big old jerk this whole episode.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really tense meeting between Horik and the Borg when he shows up. It seems like the actor who plays Jarl Borg is the only comfortable person in this whole episode.
Yeah, he did seem really comfortable.
Yeah, very secure in his place and decisions and how he's reacting to everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice to see that. And I just don't know if it's the actors or if that's what the director wanted them to do. Just have everyone feel kind of weird and off a little bit.
Maybe.
It seems like a weird thing to go for.
It does.
But it was nice to see Borg, even though I don't like him. It was nice to see someone comfortable on the show.
Yeah, and I don't even know what Horik's problem is with him. I mean, I know they argued and stuff, but it's not like this is new information. They decided a long time ago to raid together. Why did you wait until he actually showed up to say never mind?
It was so convenient for Horik, because that is the only reason that the Borg agreed to the truce in the first place.
Yeah.
That was basically a condition of it, and Horik completely breaks it.
Yeah.
That's just insane.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you make an enemy, like a real enemy.
Does he not think that Jarl Borg is going to retaliate somehow?
Yeah.
I mean, he was really mad.
Happen? He was.
I don't know. He's got the land, and Horik's been paying him for it. But does he think now that he's just going to stop?
No, I think that it's Horik has the land, and he's giving the Borg a portion of the proceeds.
So is he going to stop giving them money now, even though he broke the agreement?
I don't know. I mean, he wanted that to be the only thing in the first place that he did, was give him the money. But he gave him the extra, come raid with us in the West to get him to agree.
I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know how he thinks this is going to work out, because I don't think it's going to very well.
Rollo is accepted back as Ragnar's brother. However, he cannot go raiding with them. Did you catch the weird look from Jarl Borg?
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting. What do you think about that?
I think he thought the exact same thing that pretty much anybody watching it would think. Hey, you should have just stayed with that guy.
Horik even put all the decision or all the informing of Borg on Ragnar too. You must inform him of our decision.
Chicken.
Yeah.
I kind of liked him at first when he first showed up, but this episode he was terrible.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that someone who made it to be a king would be so conflict averse at this point.
Yeah, didn't he kill like 11 of his aunts and uncles or something? And you can't just tell Jarl Borg, you can't raid with us?
Yeah, it's so easy to just have Ragnar do it. Now he's got Ragnar as his errand boy, basically.
Yeah, I guess.
And he does not appreciate that position. he had to tell the Borg, and then the whole thing that Jarl Borg said, that before the silver cord is severed, the golden bowl is broken, before the pitcher is shattered at the spring. I thought that sounded odd. I didn't know what it meant, so I looked it up. It's a Bible verse.
What?
Yeah, from Ecclesiastes 12:6. It's, remember him, or God, before the silver cord is severed and the golden bowl is broken, before the pitcher is shattered at the spring and the wheel broken at the well. I think it basically means remember God before it's too late.
But if it's from the Bible...
Yeah, exactly.
These people are not Christians.
No.
So, what does that mean?
How does
he...
Borg know?
How does he know that?
And he said it like Ragnar would know what it meant.
Yeah. Maybe they stole it from the Bible and have been using it and people don't know that's where it came from?
Maybe.
No. What year is this supposed to be? Oh, I guess 700 years. Not 800 years almost.
Like 796, yeah. It was a strange choice on the writer's part to use
That's very weird.
Unless Borg is a secret Christian or something.
That doesn't sound right.
It doesn't, does it? And Siggy has eye sex with Horik.
Gross.
And then real sex with Horik.
Also gross. And she's all tatted up, right? Is that what we saw? Her whole back? That's interesting.
Yeah, it was really pretty. She's awfully tan for someone who wears clothes all the time.
Well, not all the time.
That's true. Or else we wouldn't know, would we?
She has some southern blood.
Maybe. It's interesting that she is getting on the good side, very good side, of another powerful person, since Rollo doesn't seem to be panning out for her. She's going to find her own way. She's quite cunning. What did you think of her deciding or trying to tell Horik that she wanted to tell him about Ragnar's strengths and weaknesses because he's your ally? How much did you believe that?
That was a very strange conversation. I don't know what she was trying to get out of that, except maybe just to seem useful, I guess.
For me, it seemed like she was implying that he would want to know his weaknesses, and she wasn't going to say why, and so the excuse was that, oh yeah, of course I need to know my friend's weaknesses so I can support those, not what can I do with these weaknesses.
Well, here's the thing, though, too. Horik just showed us that he is willing to turn on anyone, break any agreement that he's made if it suits him. So maybe he will,
That's true.
Maybe he'll want that information in case he ever decides that he doesn't. Because the thing is, even though he's a king, I think he still sees Ragnar as competition. Because he's also famous, he's a warrior. He's known for doing things that other people wouldn't do, for taking these risks, going west. So I can imagine that Horik, even though he doesn't want to admit it, is probably a little intimidated by Ragnar. So maybe Siggy is trying to feed that a little bit.
So it's King Horik is Queen Cersei and Ragnar is Marjorie?
Well, except I like Marjorie. Yeah, I guess so. I think, even though I really like Marjorie a lot, I think I don't think Ragnar is as naive. I mean, I don't think Marjorie was naive much, but there was a little bit.
They made her far more naive in the show than she was in the books.
Yeah, that's true.
In opposite ways, really, she also had some additional knowledge in the show that she didn't have in the books.
Yeah.
It was weird, because she had the thing where she knew that her first husband was gay.
Right.
And so she was gonna help him out with her brother.
Right.
And that was not in the books at all. And a very overt choice. It was a very interesting choice that they made to have her do that. I guess mostly for the sexiness factor, really, in the show.
Probably.
She didn't have that at all in the books. But she was far less naive in other ways in the books. She was pretty different. I mean, almost like, we're going to take this character, but we're just going to make her whatever we want her to be. Yeah. And change her on a whim. But I do like her. I like that actress. Yeah. She's fun in a lot of stuff. In Elementary, she shows up and... Yes, I've been watching Elementary. Yeah. That's right, because you just found out who she is. I did. It's very exciting. I'm definitely not going to spoil that, but...
Yeah, I'll tell you, I didn't see it coming.
Neither did I when I first saw that.
That was also a very interesting choice by the show creators. You never know what people are going to do when they already have content, but then they put it in a different medium.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know. They make changes and you're like, why would you do that?
Yeah, there are so many strange choices made, and I always wonder if it's to differentiate it from the source, or if it's just because they thought it was sexier to do something a certain way.
Or maybe more convenient. Like when they merge characters.
Yeah.
Because they did that in Game of Thrones a few times, I think.
Right. And you miss out on all the fun stuff, but you can't necessarily have that many characters followed also for a TV show.
And you can't have, 2,000 pages of text turned into a season of a TV show. There's just not enough time.
Yeah, unless you had a really long season. They could have made those Game of Thrones seasons 20 episodes long.
Yeah.
We're in a room with just Rollo and Jarl Borg. First thing I thought was, don't be alone with him. Come on, you know how this looks. You've already been through this. Don't be an idiot, Rollo. As he sits there strumming an instrument like a freaking bard from Skyrim or something. I don't know.
Okay.
That seemed so different from his usual character.
Yeah, what I was getting... Okay, so they had him holding this ukulele. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, where did he even get that? He does not play that. He doesn't know how to play that. And so then I'm thinking of, like, do you remember the Disney version of Robin Hood where there was the rooster that went around and played, like, the banjo-looking thing? I was like...
Yes, I do.
Rollo the rooster. That's what I thought of. Strumming his whatever instrument that's supposed to be. It was so out of character. I mean, it was completely insane. Why did anybody hand him that? Whose idea was that?
I like to think it was just Clive Standen, the guy who plays Rollo.
He just saw it in the prop tent.
And he's like, I need something different to do.
I'm gonna play that.
Or he's a super hipster with the hair and the ukulele and...
He was starting to look better as the episode went on. I don't know if it was his anger at not being able to go was like fueling his drive to, I don't know, take a shower. But he was starting to look better.
They cut back on the makeup, making his eyes look really sunken and red-brown. I think that helped a lot and made him far less gray as it went on.
Oh my gosh.
His hair started out super flat and then it just got less and less flat as it went on.
He started to condition it when he got off the sauce.
His vanity returns.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm actually kind of surprised he got that bad because he's so vain.
Yeah. He probably thinks this song is about him.
He probably thinks the show is about him.
Oh my god, if you ever told Rollo there was a show called Vikings, he would think he was the main character. Oh, he
definitely would.
You're like, oh yeah, that's just my brother, whatever.
So, and then he punched Jarl Borg, and
oh, thank God.
I actually gasped out loud because it surprised me so. Because for one thing, he doesn't seem like he's has very strong emotions right now, even anger. He's just sort of like blah. Mm-hmm. So it really surprised me that he had such a strong reaction, and then also that he was willing to pretty much burn a bridge.
Definitely,
because I think Jarl might have said, hey, we could try again. I mean, I don't know, whatever. We could. And then he just socked him in the face so hard. So that's the end of that. He's never coming back for that, so...
Yeah, and Borg was really surprised, too. He looked shocked.
That was a shocking thing to come from Rollo. For him to have such an intense reaction.
Yeah.
And not at all planned. You know what I mean? It was very spur of the moment, just, this is how I feel and this is what I'm going to do. Because usually he seems more thoughtful.
Yeah, it was very impulsive.
That was definitely the word I was trying to come up with that I was dancing around. Impulsive.
It was the I word. Intense. Yeah. And off they go on a voyage. Rollo is really, really mad.
So he throws his axe in the water? What? Dude, you're going to need that.
He's really impulsive this episode. He actually really was. He did that. He had the punching the Borg. He grabbed the hot knife.
Yeah.
What's
his deal? Maybe he just got sober and was like, I'm just gonna do whatever I think I should do whenever I think of it. Though he was really respectful to Ragnar, which
That's what I was just thinking, too.
Well, I think when he used to be respectful to Ragnar, I thought that he was sort of doing it in like a sarcastic kind of way. But this seemed genuine to me.
He seemed very subdued.
Yeah, he said, "I respect your decision," or something like that. And that seemed sincere. Even though he was mad.
And he also didn't apologize, but he said he'd already done that, I guess. Well, actually, no, he's never actually said, "I'm sorry."
That we know of. It's been 4 years.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know. He could have sent him flowers every week for 6 months. We don't know.
Rollo stalks Ragnar to try to get him to forgive.
We don't know. They skipped 4 years.
That's true. They did. Do you think we're ever going to find out what happened during those years?
So based on the last season, I'm going to guess that there may be some comments like made in passing or whatever. Okay. As people are having conversations, but I don't think that we're going to get flashbacks. It just doesn't seem like this show does flashbacks. This is no Lost.
It doesn't seem like a ton happened.
Worth mentioning, even.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad they skipped ahead, because I think it would have been boring to have to watch the progression of not much actually happening.
Well,
to get to where we are now.
I think if they hadn't skipped 4 years, they would have had to come up with something. There would have had to been action sooner, and maybe they just felt like that was rushing it. I don't know.
I'm glad I didn't have to watch Ragnar and Aslaug just be uncomfortable around each other when they realized they were stuck with each other at this point.
I almost want to look online and see if I can find interviews with the people that made the show talking about why they made this decision, but I know that I'd probably get spoiled if I did, so I won't.
Yeah.
But I just wonder if, they said, "Hey, we had a really good reason and this is it." I don't know if they could.
Do you think you'll find out more about why that happened in maybe the next episode or after that, or get more clues as to why we needed to skip?
I wonder if part of it is giving Lagertha more distance to move on.
Okay.
Because I don't think Ragnar had much of an issue moving on, though it would be really nice if we had somebody talking to him, or him talking to somebody about how that was hard for him. I think Lagertha deserves that.
Yeah.
And maybe we needed Bjorn to get older. Maybe he's going to be a big part of this season, and maybe they couldn't do that with him so much younger.
Okay. Well, they said he's about 17 or 18 now.
Right.
So old enough to raid.
Definitely. Maybe he's raiding with somebody else.
Maybe he's raiding with Lagertha.
Maybe they've just created their own Kattegat, but wherever they are. and she's the Earl.
Ooh, I like it.
I like it too.
I would love to watch the two of them fight together.
Yeah, I kind of want her to be running an Amazonian sort of women-run society, and Bjorn is second in command because he's not allowed to rule because he's a boy.
Siggy and Aslaug can move there, and they can
get their butts beat. Aslaug would definitely get beat up. Lagertha would be like, "Nope, you can't be here."
I'm really glad that Aslaug is not a shield maiden.
Yeah.
Just because that gives Lagertha such an obvious advantage.
I mean, I don't think
Aslaug can be rich and she can be famous and have famous parents and be beautiful, but she cannot defend herself.
And here's the thing too, all the things that you just mentioned, she had no control over.
She had
no control over being rich, no control over having famous parents, no control over being beautiful. The things that Lagertha is, she did. She became a fighter. Yeah. She raised her children. She left a relationship that she wasn't being respected in. All these things, those were her actions, her own drive.
Yeah.
So far, all Aslaug's done, besides being rich and famous and pretty, is have babies.
And while that is a difficult thing to do, it's, yeah.
Well, once you get pregnant, you have no choice. In these times, for sure. If you get pregnant on purpose or accidentally, at some point you're going to give birth and you can't change your mind about it. So that's not really a decision.
There is actually, not necessarily. I actually stumbled across something doing research on a different part of this show at one point that talked about an abortive herb that they think was used by the women. ancient Norse women, and there's actually a plant that they think isn't around anymore. They think is extinct because it was used so much for this sort of thing.
Goodness.
Yeah, that the plant went completely... So there's just this plant that could possibly induce abortions that isn't around anymore.
If so many people were using it, why was there not somebody growing it and selling it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure exactly when Scandinavians had agriculture.
Mm.
So, and I don't know if, it was at this time when that plant was around or if it was earlier. So there may have been problems with that. Or maybe, somebody had things and there was some sort of problem with all the plants and everything died, or...
Like a meteor?
There was a meteor. Ragnarok 1 happened. And we lost all the abortion flowers.
Yep.
Yeah. And now they're gone, and it's very sad. And now you have no choice about having babies. Right. Viking women need the right to choose.
Some of them really don't, though, have it. I mean, they need it, but they don't have it.
Yeah. Yeah, all the slave women, I'm sure they would love to not carry Rollo's freaking baby.
Kidding.
I forget so often that he raped that slave girl in that early episode. Because he'll start doing something, I'm like, oh, he's not so bad. And then I'll remember, I'll be like, damn it!
He is that bad.
And that also makes me wonder about Ragnar. We haven't seen him rape anyone, but does that mean that he is not a rapist? It's very... obviously on purpose that they haven't given him that sort of role in this show.
He doesn't seem to me like the kind of man who would force somebody. I think that he is charismatic enough to get what he wants anyway.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking more of in a battle kind of way, like Vikings.
Oh, the rape and pillage thing.
Right, yeah.
Well...
I don't think he's going to stand there and talk some Anglo-Saxon up until she's like, oh yeah, sure, fine, and here's my silver candlestick while you're at it.
Yeah, you want to get out of here? not like that.
Show me your silver candlestick. If my mom's listening, I'm so sorry, I just made a dick joke. Turn back now.
Yeah, okay, so here's what I'm gonna just land on with that. Pixar, it didn't happen.
Oh my god. So we're on the boat. They're wondering why they haven't seen land yet. We've been here before.
Yes.
And then there's a storm.
Kind of a scary one.
Yeah. Well, they hear the waves hitting rocks.
Yay! Good news! No, back up!
Yeah. I'm like, that's terrible. Get away. And then the rocks looming up out of nowhere. I'm like, oh my god, I would hate to be on that ship.
Okay, and then this I thought was funny. About 20 seconds before they went to the scene with the storm, they were around the boat and talking about whatever they were talking about. And I was like, man, that looks boring. And then there's this huge, crazy, terrifying storm where things were getting ripped and people were going overboard, and it wasn't nearly as boring then.
Floki had a great line because they noticed all the boats were missing after they were blown off course. Mm-hmm. Ragnar says, "Where do you suppose we are, Floki?" "I build boats, Ragnar. You're the navigator."
Yeah. I actually considered that one for my quote, too, because that was really funny.
All the Vikings arrive very warily on the shore. They've only got 5 boats now.
How many did they start with?
I'm not sure, but a lot. Yeah. However boats Ragnar had, and then Horik had his whole fleet, too. He had probably 15 boats or something.
Yeah, that's not good. Though, they could have just ended up further away, but they still could have found land.
Right. Well, it certainly worked out that Horik was in the boat with Ragnar and not on one of his own.
That did work out very conveniently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Though I guess it makes sense that if Horik does find Ragnar, it's kind of a competition. He would want to see how he was navigating, and he couldn't hide it from him if he was on the same boat.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
All right.
Plus, as of right now, they're still friends, I think.
Yeah.
Even though Ragnar's irritated about having to be the bad guy.
And irritating.
Yeah.
The Vikings get spotted by a soldier, hidden off in the distance, who immediately gallops away, to go find some people to help fight him. While the Vikings are taking a break, Floki is fishing gleefully. And then beset upon by arrows, and Horik's son Ari is hit. Which, I guess I got the feeling that was going to happen when I first saw this episode, when Ragnar and Ari were talking at the feast. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be my first raid. I really want to prove myself in
I'm
battle.
finally old enough to get shot.
Yep, that's the retiree again. I actually had never heard that term before when I was looking up the links to all the references. Listeners, if you don't look at our show notes, we put links to all the references that we make in our episodes. And one of them I had mentioned on a previous episode of either this or The Lies of Locke Lamora, the retiree, where it's a cop dies like 3 days before he retires.
It's really sad.
Yeah, it's so sad, and it's generally fictional, Rosanna. It's okay.
Okay, but like I have actually thought sometimes if I die before I retire, like if I die at work, people are going to be haunted so hardcore because that's not okay. You shouldn't work for your whole life and then die. You should get some retirement first.
If I ever die at work, it better be like 10 minutes after I started the day, because I don't want to work an entire 8-hour day and then die at the end and be like, that was my last 8 hours.
That would be horrible.
That's crap. So, God, Gaia, Hades, whoever the hell kills me, better be listening to this, because I'm not doing it. That's not how I'm going out.
Yeah, you know, when you go to work, the people that pay you are paying for your life.
Don't say that. That's just depressing.
They're giving you money and taking an hour of your life, and then giving you more money and taking another hour. You're selling them your hours.
This sounds like the pit of despair.
It's really sad.
But monetary.
Yes. It's exactly what it is. Makes you never want to go to work again, huh?
No, it also makes me feel like my life is worth more than I get paid per hour.
That's exactly true.
So sad.
Makes you want to go back in time and be like a Viking, right?
No. I'd be a terrible Viking.
Right. But you know, the thing about the Viking times is all of the time and work that you put into stuff, you were reaping what you were sowing.
Very tangible.
Yes. If you're a farmer, you're feeding yourself. The time that you spend toiling or whatever, you know, your job is, or like ranching animals, you're eating them, you're selling them to get other things you need. Well,
there wasn't a supply chain.
Yeah.
You farmed so you could feed yourself. You didn't work so you could make money so you could go buy food to feed yourself. It was a direct connection between your actions and survival.
If you needed things that you weren't making or raising, you traded.
Right. It seems so much simpler. However, I really like not having to garden because I hate gardening. And I like being able to use the internet and
that's true.
Watch TV.
That's also true.
And not live in the same house as my parents and all of my extended family.
Yes, at some point it is nice to have your own house.
Yeah.
I think there were pros and cons for both times. We'll go with that.
The Vikings make a shield wall,
which is great.
Yeah, I love their shield walls.
I do too. I like that it was like a I keep wanting to say turtle, that's not it. The shape, like a half circle.
They were covered on top.
Yeah, but what's the word for that shape?
A roof?
Oh, Nikki.
I know this shape is not a roof, but
it's like an arc, kind of?
Concave, but it's the opposite of concave.
Yeah, they create this opposite concave. No, I just think it's really smart that it's protecting them all the way around and on top.
Right.
And I loved when they opened and all the soldiers rushed in to kill him, and then they surrounded him. I was like, ooh, that is a good strategy.
I wrote that down too. Great strategy to get shield wall circle and then let them in to surround them and win.
And the Anglo-Saxons had no idea that that's what was happening.
No, they were like, oh, I made it through.
Yeah, and then they just stab.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Psycho times, like however many guys there were, 15.
And by the time the first guy that made it through realized what was happening, all the other guys were coming in behind him and he couldn't go anywhere.
I also really loved that we had several shield maidens in this raid.
Yes.
And they were like, ah!
I love hearing the high-pitched women yell.
Yes, it's great.
It is nice.
I did miss Lagertha.
Yeah.
Missed her a lot.
It was fun when, is his name Thorsten? One of the guys? One of Ragnar's friends? The blonde guy?
Right, yeah.
He was flirting with his eyes with the shield maidens, and they were kind of giggling. Mm-hmm. And Athelstan fought. He didn't do super well, but he was holding it together and then killed someone to save Ragnar and smiled right after, just unconsciously.
I think that probably was a lot of just adrenaline and not being dead. I mean, just the relief of not being dead.
Mm-hmm. And Ragnar not being dead.
Right. Yeah.
I think saved your friend. Mm-hmm. We find out that they're in Wessex, where King Egbert is apparently just like Ragnar. What do you think that Athelstan meant?
So I think that King Egbert is maybe also ambitious, like Ragnar is.
Okay.
Maybe open-minded. Because Ragnar...
Progressive.
Yeah, Ragnar is willing to make some sacrifices, and also Ragnar was willing to take risks to go after what he believed in, but really didn't have a lot of proof.
Yeah.
So maybe King Egbert is also willing to...
High risk, high reward.
Yeah, willing to try things because he thinks it's worth the risk, yeah. Mm. Or maybe just that they're both blonde. I don't know.
We actually get to see King Egbert in the bathhouse.
I want that bath.
Maybe. So do
Oh
I.
my gosh, it looks so nice.
So whenever I see a bathhouse in a movie, I automatically think Eastern Promises.
I don't know what that is.
It's a Viggo Mortensen movie where he plays a Russian gangster, and he's in a bathhouse and he has all the tattoos and everything. And he's in the bathhouse and there's a fight, and it's Viggo Mortensen and this guy fighting. Viggo's completely naked.
Oh.
Like full frontal.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And he's
that can't have been attractive in a
fight. It can't have been comfortable. No. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was not a sexy scene at all.
Yeah, that's...
It was about up there in the sex appeal as the scene of Jason Segel when he drops his towel and forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh my gosh.
About the same level of, this is just uncomfortable.
Terrible.
But it's needed for the movie, I guess.
I mean, is it?
But that movie was hilarious, so...
Yes, forgetting Sarah Marshall was hilarious.
Yes.
That movie is definitely worth a watch.
Oh, yeah.
It's
over and over
funny.
Again. And the bloopers from Russell Brand are great.
Oh my gosh. He's ridiculous. He just really is.
Have you seen the B-roll of the movie where he's sitting down in the lobby, and it's one point where he just has a few lines in the movie, but they show him for like 10 minutes just riffing, going over the same scene with different jokes every time.
I haven't seen that.
It's great. It's really funny.
I bet.
I'll have to find the link on YouTube and add it to the show. Next week, we're going to discuss Season 2, Episode 3, called Treachery. What do you think?
I think that these titles don't have enough words for me to make a good guess.
They don't give you much to work with at all.
Treachery.
Brothers War was our most explicit title of any show so far.
I've got nothing.
All right.
I have less than not much.
All right, Rosanna, what's your category for top 3 this week?
This week, it is the top 3 significant developments in this episode. Because this episode should have been the first episode of the second season. That would have made a lot more sense. The first one, obviously, the time jump. We moved forward 4 years, and Ragnar's got 3 new sons. Well, 2.5, but 2 and 1 on the way, which is a dream come true for him. Or a prediction come true, anyway.
And they have crazy names.
Yeah, Uba, and
Hitzvirk. Vitzirk.
It
started with an H, but
HV.
But the H is silent.
Oh,
Vitzirk.
And then Sigurd is going to be the next one, after her father. That's what Ragnar said. Well, he didn't say after her father, but that was her father's name, right? Mm-hmm. So, that was obviously a significant development.
Yes. Though, Uba looked way older than 4. Was that just me?
I thought that he looked more like he was 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And the younger one, I don't know if they said how old he was supposed to be, but to me, he looked more like 3. Mm-hmm. So.
And it's probably hard to get a 4-year-old actor to remember all those lines and
reactions.
Play the right emotions. Sure. Yeah.
They sure were cute, though. Cute little kids.
They didn't have crazy haircuts yet.
Yeah, and Ragnar was very cute with them, just like he was, in the beginning of the first season with Gyda and Björn. I mean, you could definitely tell that he enjoys being a father in addition to wanting to have children. You know what I mean? Like, because of the whatever, you need to have a lot. I don't know. I still don't even know why he thinks he needs to have a lot of kids just because that was the prophecy.
I guess if your kids become sort of famous, you can also have kind of the afterglow of that yourself.
I guess. I mean, if that's what he was going for.
So not just the fame for yourself, but it gives your kids the opportunity for their own fame, which increases, I guess, their chance for Valhalla. But it kind of bounces back on you as well, I would think.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like if you can raise amazing warriors.
Sure. And even considering that, I think he also enjoys it.
Yes.
I think he enjoys being a father. He's very sweet to his children.
Yeah, it's a redeeming quality.
Yeah, and we saw how he was when Bjorn changed his mind. That
Right.
hurt him. So,
Really did.
you know, you say what you will about Ragnar, but he does love his children.
Yeah.
Okay, so the second significant development I chose was that Rollo was forgiven after all this time and this terrible betrayal. However, not allowed to go on the raids. So he's forgiven, but not forgotten his betrayal. Which, duh, Ragnar, it's about time. And then the third significant development I thought was when Athelstan got his arm ring.
Yay, Athelstan!
Yay, he's a real Viking now.
We're so proud of you.
We are. It was like a graduation or something. But it definitely showed that Ragnar considers him maybe not an equal, but in the brotherhood, I guess. Not an outsider anymore.
Do you think it may also have strategic value for Ragnar as well, now that they're back in England?
Well, so here's the thing. When they were having their play fight, and he said he was going to England and he wanted Athelstan to go, and Athelstan was like, yeah, definitely, I'll go. I was like, that sounds a lot like the time that he took you to be sacrificed. So, I don't know how I feel about that, Ragnar. And I felt better when he gave him the arm ring. So, maybe that is naive of me.
Well, we've seen Ragnar be sincere and insincere.
That's true.
So it's hard to tell which one he is at any moment. Let's talk about predictions.
Okay.
So a lot has changed. We've seen, well, not that much has changed, but we've seen progression with several storylines here. And no progression, of course, with Lagertha and Bjorn, wherever they are. What do you think is going to happen next episode and maybe even over the season?
Well, I don't think that I can give any prediction based on the title of the next episode. It just does not give me enough. Treachery could be anything and anybody at every time. It's always there. I feel very confident that we will see Lagertha again.
Okay.
I very much hope it's in the next episode. I hope we don't get 2 episodes without her. That'd make me sad.
Yeah.
I'm guessing we're going to see Bjorn. And I wonder if he's going to be the same actor.
I'm not sure they could make that actor look 17.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I mean, there was probably almost a year between the seasons, the filming. But I don't think he could have passed for more than maybe 15.
He'd have to grow another foot, I think, to be a Viking.
Yeah, he's no Bran Stark, right? Am I right? That kid grew a lot over a season.
Including a mustache.
So I guess probably we'll get a different actor, which is kind of sad that this kid got kind of kicked off the show because he couldn't age fast enough.
He was just starting to grow on me.
But not growing enough. No. That's terrible. Okay.
Terrible joke.
So, yes, I hope to see Lagertha and Bjorn in the next episode. I guess maybe... I just totally forgot her name. Aslaug maybe is going to give birth soon.
Okay.
So, here's the thing. I don't know about Rollo because he's doing this apology tour kind of thing. And he's being accepting and respectful, but he's also really irritated.
Yes.
I don't know how long he can hold out being the respectful, submissive brother, because that's just not him.
Yeah.
Also, what does it mean that Siggy cheated on him? She stayed with him this long, and then she bailed when King Horik showed up. So...
Do you think he'll find out? Do you think Siggy's even gonna go back, or was she kind of leaving?
Well, King Horik went on the raid, so I'm assuming she just went back to Rollo, but we don't know if they got married. Do they live together? Probably. Maybe?
It looks like they live together, but we still haven't heard anything about a wedding. We haven't heard them call each other husband and wife.
Yeah. It just seems strange to me that she put up with it for this long and is now giving up. So I don't know if she's giving up on Rollo or if she's just being strategic about creating relationships that are going to work for her. And it's really hard to say, too, how Rollo feels about her, because he's never said, I love you, that we've seen. I care about you. I want you to be happy. Thank you for helping me. He's pretty much all he just keeps saying to her is, I don't know why you stay with me because I'm a mess, which is true. So I'm interested to see how much progress Rollo makes from this time where, they pull him out of the gutter the first time we see him in this episode as we move forward. How much forward is he going to go? And is he going to let that jealousy, of Ragnar get in the way again? Or has he learned his lesson?
Borg is not going on the raid, apparently.
Ooh, and he's ticked.
Yeah.
Understandably. Totally understandably.
Really unfair what happened.
And I think that even though Ragnar made it pretty clear that he disagreed with King Horik, Jarl Borg doesn't care. As far as he's concerned, the agreement was between the three of them, I think.
Right.
And so he feels like he got kicked out of it. So he's mad at both of them.
And when you think about it, I've never really liked Jarl Borg very much, but he's actually, every time I can think of, he's actually been the only one who has been honorable in all of this. He's been completely straightforward about what he wants, what he's willing to do. He has made deals and he has stuck to them.
That's true.
The only sneaky thing he did was get Rollo on his side.
Which, he just offered that to Rollo and Rollo took it up. It's not like he was...
Right.
I don't know. It's not like he did anything out of his way to be persuasive. He just said, hey, you want to get out of your brother's shadow? Come fight with me. That's all he said.
He was kind of manipulative, telling the whole story about his brother and his wife and all that. But he never made any sort of threat to Rollo. It was always just an offer on the table.
Yeah, and also, Rollo's not 8.
Right.
He's making his own decisions. If he doesn't want to be manipulated, then he shouldn't be. Right. He was already headed that way anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah,
which I think was pretty obvious to Borg.
Yeah, I don't think Jarl Borg is a villain at all.
Yeah. Also, I like the actor.
I do too.
I don't like the character, but the actor is compelling. The way his eyes bugged out when he was punched by Rollo, that was great.
That was a real shock.
Yeah, just pure shock on his face. Yeah. It was fantastic. He's been fun to watch since he's been on. Any predictions about what's happening in England, in Wessex?
So I thought it was interesting earlier in the episode when Ragnar said, maybe we'll stay in England longer. And I wonder what he plans to do if he stays there longer. Okay. I don't think Aslaug was keen on that idea. Since she's, going to have another baby before long. And I also thought it was weird that Ragnar would possibly miss this baby's birth by staying in England longer.
Right.
Doesn't seem too concerned about that. So I don't know if he wants to, set up new Kattegat or if he just wants to learn more. I think that Athelstan has a big part in that. I don't know why Ragnar wants to stay longer, but as we have seen, Ragnar usually gets his way. So I have a feeling that more of the show is going to be there in England.
They have said before about how England has, lands they can farm.
I'm assuming because it's warmer.
People to have.
Is that why?
Probably. Not as rocky, too, I would think.
But it seems like they're pretty far away. I mean, it's not like a raid where you spend, say 3 months out of the summer.
Right.
What it sounds like is, a lot of time there. And I can't imagine the whole raiding party is willing to just move to England for a year or 18 months.
And it sounds more like he's talking about colonization.
Yes, moving people
rather than raiding.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe he's going to go check it out and see if it's worth moving people there.
Well, he'd have to have serious arrangements with people that live there or take over and kill the kings and...
Yeah, I don't think he's that concerned about that.
He doesn't seem very concerned,
I think he's just going to take what he wants the way that they take what they want.
So We haven't seen Lagertha and Bjorn, but what do you think they're doing? Besides running an Amazonian camp where women rule.
Would they have time for anything else, Nikki?
So what do you think Lagertha and Bjorn's situation is? Wherever they are, what are they doing?
I just keep imagining them in their house that burned down, but not burned down in another town.
Okay, just farming again?
They just moved into another house. They got some goats. I don't know. I don't know what they could have been doing because... what do you do as a shield maiden who's married to a Viking when you get divorced? I mean, it's not like he's sending child support. I don't know.
And apparently divorce is just saying you're divorced. Doesn't seem to be any, no paperwork you need to file or anything.
Because they don't have paper, so that's probably true.
Now it's time for Cheek of the Week, where we talk about something good we want to share with each other and with you. This week, my Cheek of the Week is... super appropriate because summer is almost here. And what do you need in summer? You need a hammock. Everyone needs a hammock all summer long.
I need a hammock.
You do need a hammock. You need a hammock like my hammock. It's the Viver double hammock. It's not really a double hammock. All the things say it's a double hammock for two people. I don't know if I'm just larger than the average person, but I could not comfortably fit two of me. All the pictures they have of two people are all children when there are two of them.
I don't think even if you have a big hammock, you should ever put two people in it. That seems very precarious.
I agree. Unless you're on some reality show on an island, or it's like The Bachelor or something, where you're fitting two people in a hammock stacked one on top of each other.
That sounds also really dangerous.
But my hammock is fantastic. I love it. I got it for my birthday from my husband a few years ago, and it's been great. We put it out every summer, and it's really comfortable and kind of squishy, and it's all striped, and it's really pretty, and it's easy to move around. It has little wheels on one end, so you can pull it up and down. And they have several different colors, and they're between 85 and I think 115, depending on which one you get. I have the Oasis color with the oil-rubbed bronze frame.
Fancy.
Yeah, the hammock itself is blue, green, white, and black striped. But they have like a rainbowy one and all different colors you can get. And it's really comfy, and I like it so much. And now I just want to go outside and lie in the hammock under my tree in the backyard and have a glass of lemonade because it's going to be so hot here this weekend. Anyhow, hammocks are fantastic. And you should get a hammock. All of you listeners, you need a hammock. Even if you live in like an apartment, put a hammock in your living room.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Right in front of the window. And just nap there all summer.
Or just like in front of your computer screen with like a really good slideshow of tropical stuff.
Yeah.
Or, they have these like live cameras all over the world.
Oh,
you should just log into one of those webcams and watch an actual, I don't know, ocean scene.
And occasionally spritz yourself with some water. And light a candle that's cocoa butter scented or something.
That sounds really nice.
Just make your own summer in your house. In your air-conditioned house.
Yes, definitely.
What about you, Rosanna? What's your cheek this week?
My cheek of the week is related to our family trip last weekend, where your family and my family went to the Oregon coast. And while we were there, we went to the Oregon Coast Aquarium, which is in Newport. And I love the aquarium so much. It's so much fun. All the grown-ups had fun. All the kids had fun. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. And they have this amazing shark tank, which I love the sharks so much. We spent more time in there than we spent anywhere else. Just watching them, swim around. And I haven't been to very many other aquariums, so I don't know how it compares. But it's a really, really nice one. And I love that everywhere you go there, they have volunteers that are just hanging out to answer questions. They'll just tell you whatever you want. They are with the deep sea animals. They're with the birds. They are with the area where you can touch the starfish. And they volunteer. They just hang out at the aquarium all day long, which is amazing. And answer questions. And the gift shop has fudge, which is one of my favorite things to do when I travel is to buy fudge because it's delicious. We love the aquarium.
I imagine when we're both old and we're living in a nursing home, or like just before we get to nursing home, we're retired, you and I will
retirement community.
Volunteer. We'll go volunteer at the aquarium.
Yes, I will volunteer in the fudge shop. And I will be paid
sample for me,
in fudge.
And you will be 400 pounds.
Well, I mean, I'll be old anyway, so it'll be fine.
So it doesn't matter.
So we had a really, really nice time at the beach, and that was definitely a highlight. It's a great aquarium. It's so much fun, and the kids had a great time just seeing all the animals.
The shark tank is really neat. It's a walkway, and the walkway goes through the middle of the tanks. You see sharks and fish and rays swimming above and below you.
All around. It's so cool.
It's really cool. Yeah.
I'm assuming that you knew this, Nikki, that the Oregon Coast Aquarium is where Keiko, the killer whale, used to live.
Oh,
yeah, the one that was in Free Willy.
Mm-hmm.
And after Keiko passed away, they converted that one large tank into the 3 tunnel tanks where where the fish swim and you can go through it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a lot of fun. It's a really, really cool place to go. I love going there. I wish I could go more often, but a 6.5-hour drive is kind of pushing it for a weekend trip.
Yeah, I'm only 2.5 to 3 hours away, but we don't go very often.
Well, yeah, with a child as young as yours, that's a bit of a drive.
Yes, though she had a really fun time with all the fish. She got to touch the starfish, and it was adorable.
Yes, it was adorable. We got really great pictures of that trip, too. So, listeners, you can visit our website to learn about our other podcasts, to find all of our Cheeks of the Week, send us your questions, leave us feedback, and you can support the show through our Amazon affiliate link at somethingcheekypodcast.com/Amazon.
That's our episode. Please leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on Twitter at somecheek and facebook.com/somecheek. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Dig-a-da-dum, dig-a-da-da-da-dum.